online, same housekeeping as we had yesterday, right? If you guys have a question, you guys were using the chat. Can you help me with the chat? Because I can't see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
how you're
Okay,
responding.
cool. So just go ahead and use the chat, or unmute yourself in the room, have questions, just literally interrupt me. All's good. So in this section, we're not doing the attendee hub, we're doing speaker resource center. So what we're going to cover in this section is how to use the speaker resource center. I'm going to take you through and we can take a look at it, and then I'll show you how to do it in the back end. We'll talk about little things as well. The Speaker Resource Center is probably one of the easier features for you to use in Cvent, or at least one of the more pared down features. It allows you to highlight your speakers in your event, but also give them tasks, resources, and allow them to edit their profile and bits of information directly on your event site. So I think the easiest way to show this is just to do a preview or look at a speaker resource center itself. So I'm going to open up. There we go. So this is my speaker resource center. Again, it's a training one that I created, so it's not Smithers branded. We'll create one together after I just show you. So a speaker is able to receive a link to the resource center either via a web link. If you send them, you can send them an invitation email. You can register them yourself and then send them the confirmation email either way. Once I'm brought to the resource center, I'm going to go straight ahead and log in. So I'm just going to say login. And I'm going to log in with all of the details that I used to register the speaker. Is a verification process, so they'll then receive an email or a text with a 5-digit code that they then need to go in and enter. So I just got it via email. And now they're in the Speaker Resource Center. In the Speaker Resource Center, just like the site designer, dealer's choice, right? You decide what is on the resource center. I've kind of put all the things that you can put on here so you can see the options. On the homepage, you can obviously highlight information about the event. You can also add a link here for them to register if you want them to register in your registration event. Also important to note, being attached to the Speaker Resource Center does not necessarily mean you are registered in the event. Okay, you can think of them as completely separate. The speaker and the sources, I don't need them registered because maybe I'm not sending them confirmation emails. Maybe they're not on the attendee hub. They're literally just coming in, doing their session and leaving. I don't want to use a registration count. And we're using the resource center. That's a typical way of using the Cvent Resource Center. Okay. Some people also register their speakers because they want their speaker registered in the event. So you have the option to do both. You don't have to register a speaker for them to use the Speaker Resource Center. So on the center, that's my homepage. I have given the speaker tasks, so you can create different tasks for the speaker to complete. You can also give those tasks due dates so that the speaker can see what's overdue. For example, I can see receive your feedback report is overdue. If it clicks down, you can see the information. The information might make sense about this question because again, I just put things in here so you can see examples, but I can describe what it is I need them to do. If there's information, like there is a form with guidance that I wanted them to download, I can have them download it there. I can have them upload documents and I can even tell them what size and file I want them to upload. So maybe I want them to upload the presentation that they're going to use on site. Continuing down, once they're finished, they would tick it off as complete. And now they've completed that task. All of this information comes back to me in the back end. I'll show you that in a second. For now, I just want you to see the front end. So those are the tasks like welcome video, upload your welcome video, review your profile. Then we have the session information. So it says my sessions because they'll only see the details here for sessions that we've added them into in the event. So we create the event, we create a session, we say Keegan is the speaker at this session. If he's in the Speaker Resource Center, he then see that session showing up as one of his sessions. That's how you add a session for the speaker to see in the center. Again, I'll show you how to do that when you go in the back end. We're just looking at the center now.
So the session, do you have to add that manually for each speaker?
For each session, yeah. So you go into a session, and in the session, you can then add several speakers.
So if I link them in the sessions, will automatically talk to the speaker hub and put it on there.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly right. So remember, I am the speaker in this center. So if I wanted to edit the description for the general session, for example, I'm going to go ahead and say edit. Maybe I don't want it to say general session. I want it to say plenary and welcome as the title.
Can we make that optional?
Yeah, so everything that you're seeing here is you deciding what they can do, so we can not give them the option to do that. Maybe I'll remove all of this text so it's easier to see. I'll say this is our welcome, the speaker resource center, and save. Now, you can have this gate kept, like mine is approved or has to be approved, but you can also do it so that when the speaker updates information, it goes straight to the event site without you even having to approve. And remember, whatever changes on the event site, I know we haven't gone to the attendee hub yet, but it will also appear on the attendee hub as well. That's their session information. They can edit all of those details. If I come back up to the top, they have their profile. Again, I'll show you where all these things come from, but they can edit their profile here if they wanted to. So I can edit my details. As a speaker, I can edit my biography.
We decide what fields are in the Cvent.
Yeah, you can confirm all of these fields and which ones you want required, which ones you want them to be able to edit. So yes.
Can not only the speaker, but can a PA, EA have access to that?
Took the words right out of my mouth. So we have administrators, and what an administrator does is a PA, an executive assistant, who is able to log in as the speaker and fill out all their details. So yeah, we call them administrators, but same thing. Speaker questionnaire. You can create questions for the speaker to answer. It's a virtual session. Maybe I want them to confirm that they will be using a wired internet connection as opposed to Wi-Fi when they're doing their presentation type things. As the speaker, they can come in and they can ask the same question I have here. They can actually go ahead and select, as other people check is cool. And then final tab that we have here is going to be the reports tab. This is where the speaker can actually see reports about their session, not registration, so not event level specifically, but session level, their session. So I've given them access to the attendance and feedback surveys. So I'm going to say, I want to see that session attendance report. It's then going to open up that report for me in a new tab as the speaker so that I can see my information about the session itself. So I can see the people who came to my session. And notice there is a drop down, so you can go between. If they have more than one session, they can actually flip through and see all of their different sessions to see the information there. Under the actions drop down, they can export it. And under the data drop down, they can filter it. Maybe they only want to see people who came from a certain company. For example, they can edit that there if they wanted to. Really important with Cvent. I wouldn't mention this in reports, but I'll do it now. Whenever you're filtering in Cvent in your reports, you may not see all of the filtering options. So just know sometimes you need to come in and turn on a filtering option if you don't see the option there to filter by. Okay, back to the resource center. They have the option to log out, and that's really the speaker's version or the speaker's view of the speaker resource center. It really is that simple. Before we go into the back end, any questions about what they can do from the resource center, what's available on the center?
On the last page,
Yeah.
Where the speakers can export who came to their session,
Yes.
it had email address. Can we, for example, take that out if we don't want them to have people's email addresses?
I believe we can. We'll double check it when we go and build it. I've never tried to take that out, but I believe we can.
I don't think we would necessarily give them access to UK. Would we?
is this not to everyone though? Like
Yeah,
to any
we
speaker?
could choose not to give them access to that report.
That's an optional.
Oh, okay.
Everything you see here is optional.
So I think the session feedback one's a good idea, because speakers often ask like how
Yeah.
it was raised.
Especially at the end, we can.
Yeah,
raise it.
But I don't think we would.
And I guess because we're not signing people in for a session. So we're not gonna know who went to exactly what.
Exactly.
So it's a good way, yeah, it's a good way for us to know who's going to each session.
Because with Honorable Premium, you also have session check-in.
I don't know if we're planning to do that.
We don't really have that many big events where we need to evaluate who goes to which session. In most conferences, we have one program and,
They go wherever they want.
yeah, so is there an option to, let's say, just have the whole agenda on there? Or do we manually have to, for each speaker, put the session in? Because for most events, this wouldn't actually be
So
like,
We can still do the session feedback where it's tied to the presentation, where after the presentation, they get a notification.
yeah, then,
Yeah,
And that would be tied. to
that's a good way for
the-
you to know who's actually come
yeah.
in the event yourself.
Yeah.
If we don't have somebody standing at the doors zapping.
Which
badges.
Yeah, because if you don't
For
mention,
the session feedback, when they give a session feedback to the speaker can see it, but is there somewhere back end where I can then download all the feedback and collate that, so one report, that's a report.
yeah, those will be general reports that you can download. So yes, you'll have access to that and more details than the speaker has access to. Yeah, you'll have it. And then to answer your question, if you wanted to have all of the sessions appear for the speaker in that setup, you would just add the speaker to all of the sessions as a session.
Oh, okay. but you still have to add them all manually in.
Yeah,
I have the
in the
agenda
session,
in a Word document, I have to copy and paste.
in each session, yeah, not by speaker, but by session.
Ah, okay, and then you click for each speaker, then they can see the session, or do you have to, for each speaker manually? Like, can you add all the sessions and then decide, okay, this speaker sees this session, this speaker.
Oh,
sees
yeah, you
this
can
session?
change that at any
Yeah.
time. Yes, absolutely. You can change that at any time. But just to show you how it is to add the speaker, I will go to my session. So I will do this for each session. I would go into that session. And I'm gonna click edit. Scrolling down, I'll go to the speakers area. And all I would do is assign a speaker and then just assign everyone, basically.
Yeah,
Will they then show under the session on the website?
They would show on the session on the website, yes.
Also, it looks like they're all speaking at that.
Yeah.
But we wouldn't really want speakers necessarily to see the feedback for every session, would we? Like, would we want to give them access to all of that?
No,
Not for,
No.
not their session.
Not their session, right? We wouldn't want them to see.
no, not all.
are you asking how we add the whole agenda into? Is that what you're asking?
No, I was like, when you want to link the session, if some speakers might not want to see more than one session.
Yeah.
To see what's, that aligns with the other talks, for example. But is this just for measuring?
This is just feedback.
This-
that you can
Ah,
give
okay,
back.
just feedback.
Yeah,
Ah,
that's the
okay.
speaker's individual,
I was already on that
individual
one.
area.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
Yesterday you mentioned we can do planned alerts for speakers.
Yeah.
Is that in that section, or is that what you showed us yesterday in the other section?
Yeah, it would still be in that
In the
section.
other section,
All of the
okay.
alerts would be in the plan alert section. Yeah. Okay. Any more questions about the front end? Online? All clear? Yeah, okay.
Message. Well, like Chris.
Oh, we've
Right.
we've answered it.
Okay, cool. So we've seen the back end. Let's look at the front end. I'm gonna show you the completed one so you can see all the tasks come through, but then we'll create one in our training events that we've been working in. I am happy for you guys to follow along and create it as we do it together when we get to that point. Okay, so I'm back in my event. Training event. So within my event, let me just close all of these extra tabs. So speakers, as long as you turn speakers on, it's going to give you access to the rest of your speaker resources, right? Remember in Cvent, you can just use this speaker list if you only wanted to highlight the speakers of a particular session. You don't need them to do anything. You don't want to send them emails. You don't need them attached to the resource center. Remember, you're just creating them like this. is going to show them in the sessions detail and on the attendee hub if you just want the speaker's information to be visible to the attendees, right? I just want to be clear that if all you're trying to do is show that Keegan is the keynote speaker for the plenary session, but you don't need me to do anything. You don't need me to give you any resources. You just want my picture to appear with my biography. You don't need to send me links to the resource center. You don't need to create a resource center website. It's not necessary. Okay? It's only if you want the speaker to do tasks and you want to be able to manage that. You want him to be able to control his profile. Maybe you want him to review the reports, right? There needs to be a reason you're adding them to the resource center. I would not just use it because it is there, right? Because you're making extra work.
The resource center is per event.
Per
not
event.
overall.
Exactly right. Okay, so I'm in my speaker list. The first step is to add a speaker in here. So I'm going to create a speaker. Would have done this yesterday. It's the same process. I'm going to create myself this time. Let's go for Keegan. I'll skip the profile image. And then scrolling down, yes, I want to display this speaker. Do I want to feature him in the attendee hub? I'll say yes. I'll skip the biography for now. And scrolling down, I'm going to give them an administrator. So to your question earlier, it's an executive and this is their assistant or PA. So I can say the company, Jane Smith is my administrator. And then let's go ahead and save. So I've created a profile for that speaker. I have the name already. Once you've created the speaker, under the actions dropdown on the top right, you can invite them to the resource center. That's then going to send them an invitation email to join the center. They'll have the link to log in. It takes them straight to the center website where they can do whatever it is we've set up for them to do in the center. You also have the option to.
If we don't use the resource center, they can't update their information.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right.
Okay. We would have to physically do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we do, in theory, we would want to create a resource center
Yeah,
for all
the
of.
plan is that we're gonna make a template for the speaker resource center that we can then just clone and brand at the same time we make the websites.
Even then, just putting their slides in there, it's just easier.
Yeah.
If they do it.
But also helps with version control, right? Because that's what they've sent us already, so
Yeah.
And we get the administrator as well.
But if they don't do it, you're just doing exactly what you do now anyway, which is chase them.
Yeah.
Send them.
Speaker hub, right? So
That's Keith, that's Keith.
is there a way for the speakers to collaborate with each other? No, they're completely independent of each other in the resource center. So no collaboration at all in that center. Okay, so so back to what I was saying. So I'm in the speaker list. I'm looking at that speaker I've just created. Actions drop down on the right. We also have the option to log in as the speaker. So maybe I need to do something really quickly on their behalf. I can log in exactly as if I were them. Okay, let's come down. Let's come into speaker resources. In speaker resources, this is where we'll set up tasks for them to do. This is also where we'll be able to approve any tasks and see any uploads that they've given us. So if I'm creating a task, I'm in the task tab. I'm going to say create task. What's a task you guys would typically have your speaker do?
Send them presentation.
Yeah, send a presentation. Send in your presentation. So, I can give them a due date. So let's have that be due on Friday. I'll make it required, so they need to do it, and I'll make sure it's active. Then I can assign it to particular speakers. So I can say, do I want to assign it to all current and future speakers who join at the point? So everyone has this. Or is it for a specific speaker? And then I can choose which specific speaker I want to be able to do that task. Right? And then how do I want to assign it? I can assign it by the speaker, or I can actually say, I don't know who the speaker is yet, but I know if they're speaking at our Buclau Street watch party, they have to upload XYZ things. So you can do it by the person or by the session itself.
But you don't have categories. You know how we have attendance categories? Because we sometimes have panelists and speakers. So the panelists won't have a presentation or slides. Speakers do, but we still treat them as speakers overall.
Yeah.
The
But I
panelists.
guess that's how you do it by selecting specific speakers. You would.
So we would then have to still go and select each speaker with a speaker and then just go out to panelists again.
Yeah. You could also, because you can, so absolutely, what Emma says is 100% correct, right? Just adding additional color. You see how because you said categories, you see I have a category of workshop for my session. For the speaker, you can create categories, host, panelist, keynote speaker, etc. But it just doesn't pull back here. The only place you really see those is to sort the speakers in the different widgets that we have. So I just want to call out, as you said, categories. That's the only way you really use categories for speakers currently in Cvent.
Do you not see it there though, if it said panelist? I didn't, you wouldn't.
No. This is the category of session. Oh, maybe by individual speaker. Okay. It does, yeah. By individual speaker, you see it.
Can you categorize somebody as a speaker and a panelist?
We're at the same time. Let's check. Before we do,
Okay.
let's finish the settings here and then we'll go back and take a look. Did I answer all your questions?
Yeah.
Did we? Okay.
But if they were a speaker, then they'd need to you treat them as a speaker then. If they were both,
Yeah.
you'd treat them as
I
a
think
speaker.
They were categorizing them and they're a speaker and a panelist. You call them a speaker first and foremost, and then they just happen to also be on a panel.
Continuing down. So we're still in the task. Now that I've assigned it, I'm going to assign it to everyone. Now that I've assigned that task, I'm going to say, do I want the speaker to be able to upload things? And if I do, what type of files can they upload? So you can specify that as well. Then do I want it to go to the speaker record to display or the speaker and the session? So again, I have that PDF PowerPoint presentation for the event. We're looking at it on the attendee hub as a delegate. Maybe I have my event app after the event. Do I want you to be able to download that PowerPoint presentation by looking at the speaker's profile only? Or can you get it by going into the speaker's profile or the session's detail? It might make more sense when you look at the attendee hub. It just gives you two places to download that content. And then finally, if I wanted to give them a file for them to review first, I can upload it here. Or any links, maybe it's a link to a page that tells them what they need to do. I could do so as well.
I think there's an accommodation, for example, because I know lots of speakers that ask about booking rooms, don't they?
Yeah, I think get that in the first email from us anyway, but yeah, we
But
could.
that's what I mean, like if it's in there and they're going in there anyway, it's another.
Yeah,
line.
yeah, we could have a speaker form that we created, that the US team gave us a speaker form and we modified it for us. We can put all of that.
With this task
Yeah.
and the presentation, so hypothetically, the speaker then goes and uploads this presentation. Can I somehow set from what point I want that to be visible in the hub?
Like a date.
Yes.
No. It's from when you approve it. It's either there or it's not there.
So when I approve, so do I have to go in once you upload it and approve it, and then it goes into the,
So you can set it up where there's an approval process, so you need to approve it, or it just goes without approval. If you set it to be approved, then only when you click approve, that content will show up wherever it is. So if it's a document, it'll show up where the documents are. So if they submit it on Friday and you don't approve it until next Thursday, it won't show up until next Thursday.
Yeah.
Versus if it's not approved and they submit it on Friday, it automatically shows up on that Friday.
But once approved, anybody can see it who are in the hub.
Yeah, it becomes public, so.
but
wherever
can
that's-
I access it beforehand without approving
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
So for example, if we give access to the presentations after they've spoken, so I can just not approve it until they have spoken and then approve it and then it go live.
You could do that, yeah.
Yeah, so that would be a PDF, not the presentation. Yeah, that would be the shareable.
So you would have to.
There's two different ones. You've got the PowerPoint. you've got the
Yeah.
PDF. So it's,
The-
yeah.
So then you can't use it.
Oh, yeah.
The catalog we're sharing or the hub, but the ones that we're gonna use on the day, we might,
I
Be able
think you just
to.
never approve it, it will just never go.
can we download them?
You can download them. So if I come down here, let's close
Can we have two of them?
to one.
We have two different uploads. One is the PowerPoint, one's PDF.
Yeah, as long as you ask different questions and limit it to a file with the specific file type, then absolutely.
And the speaker keep going in there and changing it, because likelihood is the first one we get isn't the one that they're gonna present.
Yeah, they can keep updating. They can continue to add additional things if they want to. Like, for example, here, it's the same question and I've uploaded two files. And it shows you as well the date when it's uploaded by the delegate as well. So yeah, you can. And to your question about can I see it? So I'm in the chain speaker resources. I'm just in uploads now. These are the uploads that I've been received. I just click download the file and I can view whatever it is. So yeah, you can see it at any time until you approve it. It won't become public facing.
There's size limit, file.
Yes, different limits for different things. Usually our limits are, okay, 15 gigabytes for videos. I believe 9.98 or something like that for files, megabytes for files that you upload usually. And then in some places, just 5 megabytes. Those are usually one of those three usually.
There is even, so if we decide that we don't want the presentations to be under the speakers' resources and linked to the speakers at all, we just want to host them on a different, on the hub, but on a separate site that we then can, so because at the moment we have the speakers do the presentations, we have them, we then send them a questionnaire, and only if they fill out the questionnaire, we give them access to the presentation. Is that something we could have at Cvent as
The
well? That-
attendees. You mean the attendees? Like.
Yeah, the attendees,
Okay.
yeah, so they can then only, once they've done a task,
Mhm.
they get access to the presentation. Is that something we can do there on a different?
It's an,
tab or-
I think this is
Yeah.
what we spoke about with the different survey options, right? And there's an
Mhm.
option with the premium
Exactly,
survey.
right. Yeah, so there is options with certain features. I don't believe you, because you don't have it. So if it's like, yeah, you don't currently have it, that I know of. I'm just gonna triple check by creating a new email. But not from the Speaker Resource Center will you be able to achieve what you've just said. You're able to achieve it via emails in Cvent, where you can tie someone's uncompleted status to something. For example, attendees who haven't completed all their feedback surveys, I've created a new email. I went a bit fast. I click create new email because that gives you all the audiences you can use. So if you choose attendees who haven't completed all their feedback surveys, and then we say, yeah, they've not completed it. So no, attendees who have completed their feedback surveys, you want to make sure they have received it. And then we say when the attendee has completed their feedback surveys as the having it sent. And then I can determine which specific survey I'm referencing to. So that's how you would set that up. Once you finish that, they complete the survey. Then whatever you've attached to this email. So in this email you're creating, you would add the document link for the PowerPoint or whatever it is that you want.
But we don't have that feature at the moment.
You do, I was speaking wrong. You actually do have
Oh.
a feature, so apologies for you. I just checked you have it. Both of your questions?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. Online, we have 2 questions. So Keith, you say, when you assign a speaker task, what does the speaker receive to let them know that there is a task? Great question. So in the email area, in the email area, you have speaker emails. So emails, speaker emails, these are all the emails that are attached to the Speaker Resource Center specifically. So there is a single task reminder email here by default. So you can edit this in your template or maybe in your individual email or rather event if you wanted it to say something specific. But here's where it would say you have a task. It tells you the name of the task via this data tag. So they'll know the name of the task. And it also gives them a link to log in to the Speaker Resource Center. So this is what they'll get when you assign them a task. And then Brittany,
Thank you.
oh, go ahead.
It was the same,
Oh,
thank you.
no worries. I like that. Okay. Next one. Next one from Brittany. You said, and how many speakers actually complete the tasks we ask them to do? I'm assuming we will see how many of them have completed those tasks with us, etc. Absolutely. So in terms of how many people complete them, honestly, it just depends on your speakers and how you're dealing with them. I don't really have an answer to that. If people complete it if they want to, I feel like would be the answer. But then your question, how do you see the completed tasks? So if you go into the individual tasks itself, so I'm back to the speaker resources, I'm in tasks, it actually shows me the status of the tasks. And if I click into it, it'll then tell me which speaker has completed the task versus which speakers have it as incomplete. So you can definitely show those benefits as well.
You have the same ability with the survey that shows who's completed the surveys and who hasn't. And could you nudge them
It doesn't show it in the same way, but you can pull a report for that, yeah.
and then nudge the ones who haven't?
Yes, but you can, an easier way to do that would be to create a custom email and have the audience as those who've not completed the feedback survey. So that way they're already, when you send the email, it will already pull those people who've not completed that survey. So if an email is where you're going, I would just set the email up right away because it'll pick the audience. Okay, so back to speaker resources. Where were we? Okay, so we were talking about uploads before the tangent. Approvals. So approvals is where you'll see anything that you have set up that needs to be approved. Like for example, Keegan's updated his biography. Let me open up this event so you can see it. Okay. I have Keegan's profile here as a speaker. This is oh, which Keegan is it now? Yeah, I'm not sure which of these Keegans it is. Oh, it's three of us. Okay. Hilarious. That's cute. That one. Okay, we'll figure it out. Let's see. So I'm going to click into this biography. And I can see the update. I don't think update. There we go. So I'm going to click into this. No, I'm going to speaker list. Back into the speaker list, back into speaker resources, rather. And then back to approvals. There we go. So to see the biography, I can see it here in the information bubble. So I can see what the old value is versus what the new value is that he submitted. Ian has been training for 7 years. Okay, so I'm going to select this one. And I'll make a drop down. I'm going to say approve. Before I do, let's just look at that. One doesn't have a bio. This one's bio is very long. And this one doesn't have a bio either. So now I'm going to approve it. Let's approve that biography. And sometimes it takes like a minute or two to come through, but if I can refresh a few times. It's this one. It'll take up, oh, there it is. It's already there. So now you can see that new bio has gone through for the trainer. So it's that quick for it to come through. I thought it would take a moment. Okay, so that's the approval. Now let's hop into site settings and then we'll go into the site designer as the last thing. So in site settings, I'm going to click edit. This is where I can see if the resource center is active, will it close at a certain date and time? Can the speaker edit their sessions, the details or not? When can they edit, right? Do the edits need to be approved or not? Can they edit their profile themselves? If I say no, they can't edit. If I say yes, they can. And then of course, does it need approvals? So you're setting up what they can do and what needs approval or not. That's one piece of setting up what they can do. The final piece in that regard is in the site designer itself. So I'm going into site designer, and this looks just like the website designer, email designer, survey designer, right? So I have my navigation panel on the left, so I can flip through all those different pages. I'm going to go to the tasks page, for example, In the settings gear icon, I can see whether this page is even displayed or not. So if I don't want you to have tasks, access to the tasks, I just turn this page off. And then if I click into the task list here, for example, it then allows me to change what these buttons actually look like. If I go down to the questionnaire, if I wanted to add additional questions for them to answer, I'm building the questions just like I built on the registration process, right? I want you to ask a choice question and then I flesh the question out. So I won't show you how to build the question because I know we've done that all when we looked at registration. I feel like everyone was there. Do we feel like we'll be able to build a question? Okay, so you build your questions here. And then back to the navigation panel, I'm gonna hop into reports. And in reports, if I click into the session report widget, I'm gonna click into it. This is where I can determine which reports do you see, right? I don't want you to see the attendance report, so I top it off. You don't have access to it. It's that simple. I don't want you to have access to the sessions. I top it off. I can even set a date and time when you can review those reports. So maybe I want you to see it the day after the event for 5 days, and then you can't see it any longer. You can set that up as well. Once you're finished, you would of course publish. And that's how you set it up. Any question about setup before I go into finding the link? No? Okay,
Sorry,
go ahead.
can you add sponsors logos into?
You can add
Sorry, I
images.
never thought that.
Yeah, no worries. You can add images. So yeah, as long as you have the logo as a picture, you can add it as a
So it would appear on the page, have the.
for the speaker to see it. Yes.
We could make a sponsor logo or just add it in the image, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so let's move the and let's talk about sending this out now. So for my speakers to receive this, they can receive it either via welcome email or a web link. So I think I showed you how to send the welcome email before, but just to recap, I want Avocado to join the Speaker Resource Center. Sorry, I'm gonna click into his name. Under the actions drop down, he's already been invited. That's where it's grayed out. But I can go ahead and click in, or he doesn't have an email address. But I will just click his name. It will send him the invitation email. The invitation itself is in speaker emails. Right. We have that speaker invitation. So you can edit that invitation email if you felt like you needed to edit the invitation. But point is, this email has a link. And that's what takes them to the Speaker Resource Center. Final option is if you wanted to pull just a web link. So if I go to marketing and then into web links, within here, you have this FRC home. This is the link to the Speaker Resource Center. So that's going to be created for you by default. You can copy it, and that has the link to the Resource Center. And then send it out, obviously, however you want to send it out to them. So that's how you would use the Speaker Resource Center, access it, send it out. Any additional
The
questions?
difference would be the email address. Would the invitation would either come from Julie Hughes at Cvent, or if I use the link, I can send it from the address.
Yeah,
So is that how the email address, how the email would appear when you use it?
The
for-
email would come from whoever, whatever we set as the.
yeah, that's the question.
So we can choose when we set it up, whether it comes from Smithers Events, so events@smithers.com, or if it comes from the producer, for example.
Can we change this then? Like I sent out an email, my email address, then operation sends an email that you can,
Yes,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
yeah, you can add as many emails that you want to send from Cvent,
and you can
Yeah.
if you
choose.
like.
Yeah, it's really simple. If I click into it, I'm just going to click edit. You only have one. Oh, this is my account. So my account has 2 email addresses. So I can select the other email address at any time and
But we
then
could add it.
several.
Anyone that's working on the event, really.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions, guys? Online, you guys okay?
They're quiet.
All clear? Okay, perfect. All right, well, in that case, we have a 2-minute break before we move into the next session, which is the attendee hub.
Who's,
There's just grab, there's like 3 down there.
Oh, are they not?
No, you gotta plug mine.
Well,
So you need
so
to.
everyone's staying.
Or Charlene. This one, yeah. Oh, there's one there. Oh,
Useful.
Right into the.
Oh, is it production changes? Oh, before you guys leave, sorry, I don't know why I thought you guys were here this afternoon, but before you guys leave, I do need one thing from you, please. That is, if you can scan this QR code for me,
gonna still give you 5 stars?
I hope you will. But genuinely, my management team is in the US. I don't have any management in the UK. And the only way they know that I can have work is if they get a feedback survey from me at the end of the day. So if you can scan this black one, and then just let them know what you thought about it.
Give me and Emma the link to that as well.
Okay.
And then we'll email it out.
As well as that, as well as that.
Where is it?
It's the,
No,
oh, I think it's because the mouse is on it.
Oh, sorry.
Mention that. That's very resourceful, Tom, over there.
It is.
What I was gonna say was, can you bring the cake round in about half hour?
Just need operations in panel table.
Adult table.
That's how we train.
I don't know. Terrible.
I'm gonna email it out.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Look at you being efficient, Sandra.
I know, things are finishing. So, okay, all this struggles in it. Do you want me to come to that, like, there's our inside move, that's it, that's a change.
you're orange. What are you doing there? Are you staying? That's all.
Then session.
What's your events companies? You have it. I'm looking into. And if you're a speaker and you're at loads of different events, you're gonna be used to it. And if you've got a PA, it's
More intuitive when you start using it.
it's like now, right? If they don't do this, then we just do it the old way. So if they don't do it.
They won't. They have to. They're not gonna do it unless you actually tell them to do it, are
Like
they?
you said, like, if we give them the option to do it and they don't do it, then we'll just do
Well, they
it.
have to do it anyway, so let's.
There's no downside there. I don't see.
Is educate.
We've asked, the system does what we've asked it to do,
Yeah.
there's nothing it doesn't do.
It almost does.
So
Well,
there's-
it definitely does too much.
Yeah.
A little bit. It's a little bit overwhelming, some of it.
Some of it, I'm like.
It's almost like the human brain. We're only gonna use 10% of it. There's so much.
Keegan said to us this morning, we're using about 15 to 20% of what Cvent does.
Yeah, wow. And I feel like we're using quite a lot.
We're only using
Yeah.
that's only before.
What he's showing us here is about a fifth of what it actually does.
The thing is, we just need to educate ourselves to do all these new things, then we have to educate all of our people. That's it. But the more marketing people we get for the speakers, for the exhibitors, the better for you.
Gotta get on.
Now you have marketing people
Let's
who
do it.
actually have most of it to do with promoting the company or promoting it all on. Well, so much effort.
No, I am gonna switch because
That's not, that's the whole point.
that's already.
Less.
So